or collectively it should apply. Now, what is the point is this type of method written can also be used for ng style. ng style is not using an object directly now. It is using a function. That function is returning. You can see the lambda. The function is returning these effects. Means it's a method. The method is returning those effects. So that's how we configured the methods. That means technically what we have done here. Directly we are not collecting the values and applying them. Then what will happen on every change it will apply. What we are doing, first we are collecting data from text boxes. Okay, means from controls. We are collecting data from controls. And we are assigning those to the new properties. Because if I directly assign them, whenever change occurred inside that, it will affect every time. We are storing them in new properties. But we are updating those new properties only when the function is called. So the function is returning an object with the effects, and the effects will get the values when apply click happen. So when apply click happen, the values from the controls we are collecting, and those values we are updating to these return effects. So that means after applying those new values, we are calling this return effects. This will update these properties. And this return value of this function is being used by ng style. What is advantage of this is you can use this method anywhere. You can call it. You can use it from anywhere. So that means not for different types of elements. We can call from different types of events. On change, it can return effects. On click, it can return effects. We can manage that by using functions. So we can pass functions, we can pass object, we can pass the prototype of object directly. There are three techniques we have learned in this style binding. One is directly you can pass the property and value. Second, you can create an object and update that object. Third, you can create a function which can return it. That means the third example is return effects using a function. Return effects using a function. And here the same. So style demo dot component dot ts. In this we made some changes now. We created some methods which can return those effects. And style demo dot component dot html. We added one extra component, that is button. And on button click, we are calling that function return effects. This is that. So these three examples are related to style binding only. So one example, the first example is directly, it is using a style object. It is using a style object. And the second example is using the styles, using the styles directly. Using the styles directly. So it is configuring everything here. So third one is returning the effects using a function. But all are dynamic. That means they change according to the state. But all are inline styles. They are defined for that particular element only. If I want for another element, I need to write for another element again individually. Suppose there is another heading that also should use the same. Then for that heading also, again I have to write ng style. So what is advantage of class is class will be applied to multiple according to that. But ng style is individual for every element. So it depends on the reusability concerns, right? This is under the concept of how we can bind styles dynamically, class binding and style binding. Now, once we are aware of this, next very important we have to understand about event binding in Angular, how to handle various events. Currently, situation wise, we have seen two events. One is a click event and a mouse move event. We have seen that. But Angular can use all JavaScript events for various situations to handle different interactions. And how these events are used. What is event binding in Angular? How, because with this only we can design complex things. So how the events are handled in Angular, we have to know. That we will see in tomorrow's session, how to work with event binding. What are events, how to deal with event binding. We will discuss step by step about that in tomorrow's session, right? Yeah. Hope you are clear with this. You are practicing all this now, right? If you have any issues, let me know about those issues, right? Then tomorrow we can start designing some complex examples now. So with whatever we have learned till now, we will design some complex examples that matches the real world requirements. For that, we need to know those events and work with them, right? Tomorrow we'll continue with this. Okay, thank you.